You may have heard it 1,000 times. Just keep walking. Doctors recommend it. Friends swear by it. And for many years it worked. But somewhere after 60, walking can start to feel different. The knees complain sooner. The hips tighten. Balance feels less certain. And what used to be a refreshing habit quietly turns into a source of strain. Here is the surprising truth many seniors are never told. For adults over 60, one simple chair-based movement can activate more muscle groups, improve circulation more efficiently, and protect your joints better than walking, especially when done correctly and consistently. This is not about giving up movement. It is about choosing smarter movement. Surgeons and geriatric specialists increasingly acknowledge that low-impact, seated exercises reduce fall risk, preserve independence, and improve functional strength in ways walking alone often cannot. When you remove the pounding on joints and replace it with controlled muscle engagement, the body responds differently, more safely, and often more powerfully. Imagine strengthening your legs, improving balance, supporting heart health, and easing stiffness, all while sitting down. No special equipment. No gym. No long recovery time afterward. For many people over 60, this single chair exercise becomes a turning point. Not because it is easier, but because it is more effective where aging bodies actually need support. And once you understand why it works, and how to do it properly, you may never look at walking as your only option again. Before we continue, take a moment to join the conversation. Please comment with your age and where you're watching from today, city, state, or country. It helps this community of adults over 60 learn from one another. The first thing to understand is why this chair exercise can outperform walking for adults over 60, especially when it comes to muscle activation. As the body ages, muscles do not weaken evenly. Certain groups, particularly the quadriceps, glutes, hip stabilizers, and deep core muscles, lose strength faster than others. These are exactly the muscles that protect your balance, support your joints, and allow you to stand, sit, and move safely through daily life. Walking, while beneficial, often becomes passive with age. The stride shortens. The push-off weakens. Many seniors unconsciously shuffle to protect sore knees or hips. When that happens, walking stops challenging the muscles that need stimulation the most. Instead of strengthening, the body simply goes through the motions. This is where the chair exercise changes everything. By sitting down and standing up repeatedly, slowly, with control, you force the largest muscle groups in the lower body to wake up and work together. The thighs engage to lift you. The glutes fire to stabilize the hips. The core tightens to keep you upright. Even the muscles around the ankles activate to maintain balance as your weight shifts. From a physiological standpoint, this movement pattern mirrors the most important task your body performs every day, transitioning between sitting and standing. Research in geriatric medicine consistently shows that difficulty standing up from a chair is one of the earliest predictors of loss of independence. Strengthening this exact motion is not just exercise, it is functional survival training. As muscles contract and release during the movement, blood flow increases dramatically. This improves circulation to the legs more effectively than slow walking, where muscle engagement may remain minimal. Better circulation means more oxygen delivery, improved endurance, and faster removal of metabolic waste that contributes to stiffness and fatigue. According to Dr. William Thomas, movement that reflects real-life tasks is the most powerful form of exercise for older adults because it trains the body for independence, not just fitness. That insight is critical here. This chair exercise does not train you to walk longer, it trains you to live better. Now, let's talk about how to do it properly, because technique determines results. You begin seated on a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Your toes should point slightly outward, not straight ahead, to allow your hips to move naturally. Sit tall, chest lifted, shoulders relaxed. Before moving, gently tighten your abdominal muscles, as if preparing to cough. This protects the spine and activates the core. As you stand, press through your heels, not your toes. Imagine pushing the floor away from you. Lean forward slightly from the hips, not the waist, keeping your back straight. Rise slowly until you are fully upright. Pause for 1 second at the top. This pause is crucial. It forces the muscles to work harder and improves balance awareness. Then, lower yourself back down with control. Do not drop into the chair. The slow descent is where muscle activation peaks. Aim for a smooth, steady motion that takes about 3 to 4 seconds to sit. For most adults over 60, 5 to 10 repetitions are enough to stimulate muscle growth and circulation without overfatigue. Quality always matters more than quantity. This is not about speed. It is about control, intention, and consistency. A common mistake is using the arms too much. While light hand support is acceptable at first, relying heavily on armrests reduces leg engagement. The goal is to gradually shift the workload to the legs and core. Another frequent error is locking the knees at the top. Keep a slight bend to protect the joints and maintain muscle tension. If balance feels uncertain, position the chair near a wall or sturdy table for reassurance. Confidence allows better movement, and better movement builds confidence, a cycle that becomes increasingly important with age. What makes this exercise superior to walking for many seniors is not that walking is bad, but that walking often fails to challenge weakened muscles enough to trigger adaptation. This chair movement creates resistance using your own body weight, scaled perfectly to your current ability. As strength improves, the same exercise continues to deliver benefits without added equipment or risk. Over time, seniors who practice this consistently report stronger legs, easier transitions from sitting to standing, improved posture, and greater confidence when walking. The body begins to trust itself again. And that trust, between your muscles, your balance, and your brain, is what keeps you active, mobile, and independent far longer than any step counter ever will. One of the most overlooked realities of aging is that joints, not muscles, often become the limiting factor in staying active. Knees ache. Hips feel tight. Ankles lose flexibility. And when joints hurt, the body instinctively changes how it moves. Steps get shorter. Weight shifts unevenly. Balance quietly deteriorates. Walking, especially on hard surfaces, places repeated impact through the knees, hips, and spine. For younger adults, joints absorb and rebound from that stress efficiently. After 60, cartilage thins, joint fluid decreases, and the shock-absorbing capacity of the body declines. What once built endurance can now accelerate wear and tear if done excessively or improperly. This is where the chair exercise offers a critical advantage: joint protection without sacrificing strength. When you perform a controlled sit-to-stand movement, the joints move through a natural, supported range of motion. There is no pounding, no sudden twisting, no unpredictable terrain. Instead, the muscles surrounding each joint take on more of the workload, which is exactly what joints need to stay healthy. Strong muscles act like shock absorbers. When the quadriceps and glutes are engaged properly, they reduce compressive forces on the knee joint. When the hips are stabilized by surrounding muscles, pressure on the lower back decreases. When the core remains active, the spine stays aligned instead of absorbing unnecessary strain. In contrast, many seniors unknowingly walk with compromised mechanics. Arthritis pain may cause one side to favor the other. Hip stiffness can limit stride length. Weak glutes may force the knees inward with each step. Over time, these subtle compensations increase joint stress rather than relieve it. The chair exercise interrupts that cycle. Because the movement is slow and deliberate, it gives the nervous system time to coordinate muscles correctly. This improves joint tracking, how smoothly joints move within their sockets. Better tracking means less friction, less inflammation, and fewer flare-ups after activity. Orthopedic specialists often emphasize this principle. According to Dr. Vonda Wright, joints thrive when muscles do the work they were designed to do. Pain often appears when muscles stop carrying their share of the load. That statement captures the core reason this exercise is so powerful for older adults. Another major benefit is fall risk reduction. Falls are rarely caused by weak legs alone. They occur when joints cannot respond quickly enough to shifts in weight or changes in position. Practicing controlled transitions from sitting to standing trains the joints, muscles, and balance systems to work together under safe conditions. Each repetition teaches your body how to manage weight transfer. You learn where your center of gravity is. You improve proprioception, the body's awareness of where it is in space. These neurological improvements are just as important as muscle strength, and walking alone often does not provide enough focused stimulus to enhance them. There is also the issue of inflammation. Repetitive impact from walking long distances can aggravate inflamed joints, especially in individuals with osteoarthritis. Pain leads to reduced movement. Reduced movement leads to stiffness. Stiffness leads to more pain. It becomes a downward spiral. Chair-based strength movement breaks that loop by encouraging circulation without irritation. Increased blood flow helps deliver nutrients to joint tissues and remove inflammatory byproducts. Many seniors notice that stiffness decreases within minutes after completing the exercise, not hours later, as often happens after a long walk. However, technique again matters greatly. A common mistake is letting the knees collapse inward during the stand. This places unnecessary stress on the knee joint. Instead, consciously keep the knees aligned over the middle toes. Another error is rocking forward aggressively to gain momentum. Momentum reduces muscle engagement and increases joint strain. Slow, controlled motion protects the joints and maximizes benefit. Modifications are simple and effective. If knee discomfort exists, begin with a slightly higher seat by placing a firm cushion on the chair. This reduces joint angle stress while still strengthening the muscles. If hip stiffness is present, pause halfway up for 1 second to allow muscles to stabilize before completing the movement. It is also important to understand that joint protection today determines mobility tomorrow. Many seniors believe pain is an unavoidable part of aging. In reality, pain is often a signal that movement patterns need adjustment, not elimination. This chair exercise respects the limits of aging joints while actively improving their support system. It does not ask your joints to endure more, it teaches your muscles to assist more. That distinction is why so many older adults find it sustainable long term. Over time, walking becomes easier, not because you walked more, but because your joints are no longer carrying a burden they were never meant to bear alone. And that brings us to the most meaningful outcome of all: how this single movement translates into everyday independence. The true value of this chair exercise is not measured in repetitions or calories burned. It is measured in moments, the everyday moments that determine whether you live independently or begin relying on others. Standing up from the toilet, rising from a dining chair, getting out of the car, catching yourself when you stumble. These actions all share one thing in common: they require coordinated strength, balance, and confidence in your own body. And after 60, this is where many people quietly begin to struggle. Loss of independence rarely happens suddenly. It creeps in. First, you push off the armrest a little harder. Then you avoid low chairs. Then you hesitate before standing, wondering if your legs will cooperate. Over time, these small adjustments change behavior, and behavior changes ability. This chair exercise directly targets that decline by reinforcing the exact movement patterns your daily life depends on. Each controlled stand teaches your nervous system that your legs are capable. Each slow descent trains stability and trust. Over weeks, the brain updates its internal safety map, reducing fear-based hesitation. This neurological confidence is just as important as muscle strength, especially for seniors who have experienced a fall or near fall. Walking alone does not always provide this reassurance. Many seniors walk cautiously, limiting range of motion to avoid discomfort. While understandable, this caution can unintentionally reinforce weakness. The body learns to avoid challenge instead of adapting to it. The chair exercise reframes effort as safe and manageable. Because it is done in a stable environment, the brain remains calm. Calm movement allows better muscle recruitment. Better recruitment leads to strength gains that carry over into real life. This is why seniors who practice this exercise consistently often report that everyday tasks feel lighter, even without increasing walking distance. Geriatric rehabilitation research frequently highlights this concept. According to Dr. Louise Aronson, independence in older age depends less on endurance and more on the ability to perform essential movements repeatedly and safely. That insight explains why this single exercise can have such a profound impact. There is also a psychological benefit that deserves attention. Independence is deeply tied to dignity. When standing up becomes difficult, people begin to feel older than they are. Confidence erodes. Social participation decreases. This emotional withdrawal often accelerates physical decline. Reclaiming control over a basic movement restores more than strength, it restores agency. From a practical standpoint, consistency matters more than intensity. Performing this exercise once or twice daily, 5 to 10 controlled repetitions, creates cumulative benefits. Morning sessions reduce stiffness and improve circulation. Evening sessions reinforce muscle memory and balance awareness. Progression is simple and safe. As strength improves, you can slow the movement further, add a longer pause at the top, or perform the exercise without using your hands at all. These small adjustments increase challenge without increasing risk. Importantly, this exercise complements walking rather than replacing it entirely. Walking remains valuable for cardiovascular health and mental well-being. The difference is that, once your legs and joints are properly supported, walking becomes safer and more enjoyable instead of exhausting or painful. Many seniors discover that after several weeks of consistent chair exercise practice, their walking posture improves naturally. Stride length increases. Fear decreases. Endurance improves, not because they pushed harder, but because their foundation is stronger. This is the essence of aging well, choosing movements that respect the body's changes while actively countering decline. Independence after 60 is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most, well, safely, and consistently. This single chair exercise addresses the core requirement for independence, the ability to rise, stabilize, and move with confidence. When that ability is protected, everything else becomes possible. Now, we want to hear from you. Which daily activity related to standing and moving has become harder for you lately? Is it getting up from a chair, rising from the toilet, or standing up after getting out of the car? If you're over 60, when was the moment you first noticed that standing up required more effort or hesitation than it used to? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.